Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome. It is Monday, September 28th, 2020, and I am on Jacksonville Beach in Florida, which is in the northeastern part of Florida, if you're familiar with the state. And temperatures are, I don't know, 82, something like that. And it's mostly cloudy, but I've got an umbrella up just in case because I don't want my phone to overheat. And it's supposed to have some potential pop-up rain later today. But I thought, I'm going to be in Jacksonville. I might as well come to the beach to do my Facebook Live. It's been, a week since I've done my last Facebook Live, so I decided I need to come to the beach. And also, I'm testing out a new microphone. Testing out a new microphone right now. So let me know how the microphone sounds. It's supposed to cut out wind. Oh, and there is a breeze right now. That was probably about a 20 mile an hour wind right now. So it sounds great. Well, awesome. Yay. Also, I'm going to share a cool praise report as we get started here. So, the Lord told me back in July to start going into hotels to doing Facebook Live, to get them on Jacksonville Beach in Florida, just to let you guys know. And it's it's a little bit windy right now. And so, there we go. Alrighty. Sorry about that, but a wind gust just came up and blew really fast, so I may have to hold my umbrella here. Alrighty. So anyway, here's a praise report for everyone. Is that I've been going into hotels to do my Facebook my Facebook Lives, my breakthroughs. And when you go into hotels, Marriott hotels, they will typically charge you $150 for the privilege of using their microphone. And I was like, that's kind of expensive when you're doing 8 of them a month. So I decided to see, check in to see if they actually had a microphone that I could use like on my iPad and have it connected to my Wonder Boom. And I'm staying with a couple in Jacksonville, and they didn't even have a clue that I was looking at microphones to connect into my Wonder Boom, so people could hear them out in the audience. And he offered me a microphone that they had that you plug into your either iPhone or your iPad, and then it allows obviously people to hear you clearer, and you can connect it to an external Bluetooth speaker. And so I tested it last night and it worked. I was like, oh my gosh, praise the Lord. I didn't have to go out and buy one because he already had this extra one that he wasn't using. And so I love when God does cool things like that you don't expect. And I'll be able to, actually in Orlando, they're letting me have their microphone that they have for just $40, which is unusually cheap. Nothing's been that cheap before. And then I'm going to use it when I get to Atlanta on Saturday. Also, to let everybody know, since I'm talking about my breakthrough events, is that I'm going to be doing one tomorrow night that was not on my calendar. I had talked to the pastor, Pastor Mark Antner, Saturday, and I will be going there tomorrow night at 7:30 at Kingdom Life Church. It's in Holiday, Florida, which is north of Tampa and St. Petersburg. So looking forward to that. Going to have lunch with him actually tomorrow, and then be there 7:30 p.m. So for those of you that are over by Tampa, St. Petersburg, that you want to attend, we've already got people signed up for it, and I'm running an ad for like 2 days to make other people aware of it. So God is good. God is getting the word out about forgiveness and how important that it is to get healed from soul wounds and get delivered and just have a much better life than what people have had and struggling. So anyway, today is Yom Kippur Day, which is the Day of Atonement. And according to tradition, it is on Yom Kippur that God decides each person's fate, so Jews are encouraged to make amends and ask forgiveness for sins committed during the past year. Leviticus 16:29 mandates establishment of this holy day on the 10th day of the 7th month as the Day of Atonement for sins. It calls it the Sabbath of Sabbaths, and a day upon which one must afflict one's soul. So then Leviticus 23:27 decrees that Yom Kippur is a strict day of rest. So I know some people are fasting. Yom Kippur started last night and it concludes until tonight. It's been a week since I've last done a Facebook Live because I have been doing a lot of personal sessions this past week when I was at Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. I did 20 sessions in last week. I did 7 alone on Thursday, and it tends to wear one out when you're doing that many personal sessions, but I really appreciative of those who attended them. They had great breakthroughs, a lot of testimonies that came out of it that were phenomenal, powerful testimonies, where they felt things shift off their bodies. They felt lighter. They felt healings in their bodies. One woman had come in and had an ice pack on her back, and when she sat down, she didn't really know exactly what I was going to take her through and do, but I told her, I said, listen, when you walk out of here, you're not going to need the ice pack anymore. And sure enough, she forgave the people and repented and got healed. Did not need the ice pack anymore. And then her husband came in and did a session, and he had a shoulder injury from a car accident, and that got healed. So God was doing a lot of awesome healings while, sorry about that, a wind gust is coming up again. Let me hold on to this while the gust dies down. So anyway, a lot of miracle healings that took place, and that is always normally commonplace when we do these breakthrough events or we do personal sessions. But I will share this too before I get into the teaching today, is that again, this Tuesday I'll be in Holiday, Florida, Kingdom Life Church. October 2nd on Friday I'll be at Orlando Marriott in Lake Mary, Florida. October 3rd in Atlanta at the Atlanta Marriott Perimeter Center up on the northeast side. That's Saturday night at 7 p.m. October 4th, Sunday night, I'll be in Birmingham, Alabama at a home group. And then October 9th in Spring, Texas, which is Houston, Texas, Houston City Place Marriott. October 10th in Dallas, Texas at the Marriott Dallas Las Colinas Hotel. And then October 11th, I'm in the process of adding this, but I'll make people aware of it because we are deciding on what venue to have it at. But I'm coming to Cisco, Texas, which is a couple hours west of Dallas-Fort Worth. Again, that's on October 11th on a Sunday, and I may go back there on a Wednesday. And then October 18th, I'll be in Merkel, Texas, which is west of Abilene, Fountain Gate Merkel Church. October 25th in Odessa, Texas. And then I just got a message from my good friend Kel Bales. Looks like I'm coming to maybe Wisconsin in November. What? No, I told him I can't go there unless it's warm. There's no way that I want to go up there when it's freezing cold and snowy and icy in Appleton, Wisconsin. But we're looking at the weekend before Thanksgiving. He's having a kickoff, a Deliverance kickoff focus there. So I may go up there for that weekend and do lots of good stuff for the people. And then December 6th, Anaheim, California. Now I'm sure it will not be cold in Anaheim, so alrighty. So all these sessions that I've done here in the last couple weeks prompted me to write this blog titled Deliverance is Now Resonating with the Highly Influential. And it's awesome to see, because when I started out doing my deliverance sessions on people, a lot of them had been hurt very deeply, and they were just struggling financially, struggling in their jobs, struggling in their lives, of course. And I did, hundreds and hundreds of people. And now it is starting to resonate with those who are the white collar, I call them, professionals that are searching for freedom and peace. And because the message is not weird and it's normal, and we take people through these forgiveness prayers and repentance, that they are receiving it, and people are getting delivered and set free. So I'm going to go through and read the blog, and I believe that the Lord can use a lot of these people, because a lot of them have influence over other people. And you can imagine, the more people that a person who gets set free, that has more influence over more people, then the more people are going to get set free and healed and delivered. If you're getting set free and you only have a limited amount of friends, and people unfortunately may not listen to you, then you're not going to be able to impact as many. But if you have a person that is highly respected in a community, and they understand how this works, then they can impact a whole lot more people. And it's awesome, just awesome to watch. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Over the past few months, I've been inundated with an increase of desire from people around the world who are desperately pursuing deliverance. Historically, when people reached out to me, I would see many who were hurt deeply from their mother or father, step-parents and others, as well as from being exposed to sexual things, pornography, molested by their siblings, adults, etc., and were affected significantly enough that it would greatly impact their ability to maintain a high-paying job or influential positions, as you can imagine. But lately, I have had many who would be considered to be highly educated professionals and influential people from wealthier careers and positions who have become aware of deliverance and the need for it in their own lives. Entrepreneurs, psychologists, presidents of companies, founders and owners of businesses, judges, law enforcement, political figures, Hollywood actors and actresses, professional athletes, chiropractors, medical doctors, pilots, sales executives, and others are now pursuing deliverance for themselves, as the message is resonating within them for the desire for true peace in their lives and the lives of their loved ones. Then, after deliverance, they are able to make a huge impact on their friends and their families because of the resources and influence that they carry. So the message has been simple. You get hurt emotionally, physically, or sexually growing up, and then you get reminded of the wounds later in your life from demonic thoughts that you cannot stop. Some hear 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day, of which 80% are negative, and 95% of those thoughts are repetitive, according to a National Science Foundation study in 2005. So your soul gets wounded. Your soul is comprised of your mind, which is your thoughts, your will, which is the free will to choose, and emotions, how you respond. Then the demons give you thoughts, and you do what they say or suggest, and you make bad decisions that hurt you and your loved ones. The enemy is the real enemy. Not your mom or dad, your siblings, your spouse or friends or others. Demons tell you that you can't trust anyone because you are not able to trust your mom or dad or others to protect you when you grew up. So you listen to the thoughts coming to you instead of from the Lord, and then you have negative consequences. So you can imagine if you are hearing and listening to demonic spirits, they're going to give you thoughts that are not the truth, that will cause you to get angry, take an offense, cause you to make and do behaviors that are not godly, and you will end up not having any peace in your life. So there's a saying that hurting people hurt people. And yes, it's true. Until a person gets healed from their past wounds from Jesus, and then can completely forgive those who hurt them from their hearts, then they will hear thoughts from the enemy and hurt those they are in relationship with. They will self-sabotage their own relationships, and then they won't take responsibility for it. We see this all the time, where people that are tormented from the demonic thoughts will end up taking out all of their pain on their spouse or their loved ones, and then they will blame them instead of taking the responsibility. And again, it even affects those in highly influential positions. Oftentimes those people tend to have a heart for other people. They end up getting married to people that are hurt, trying to help them, and then unfortunately they end up paying the price for it, and they get hurt. And when they get hurt, then it makes obviously for a challenging marriage and a challenging relationship. And there are some, that obviously would be considered narcissists by the psychological community, that can get high-paying jobs and so forth, but they're not going to have any healthy relationships. They're going to end up blaming other people, tormenting other people, and just not being a very nice person. And you can imagine as they tend to get older, they end up having less and less relationships with people, because people end up getting tired of putting up with them and enduring them. All right. And now the highly educated are learning the truth and understanding how it all works. They're going deeper spiritually to looking behind the negative reactions and bad behaviors of people, and seeing that these people are only behaving these ways because they are obeying the demons speaking to them. And the only true way to fix them is not through medication or behavior modification programs, but to get to the spiritual root of their pains by going back to the original wounds and having Jesus give them a word of understanding to see from his perspective why their mom or dad or others hurt them, and then they're able to officially forgive them from their hearts, to take away their legal rights, and then commanding the demons to go to the pit in Jesus' name. Then they no longer will hear all the negative thoughts and be able to behave normal, loving, humbly, and peaceful. One person I did a session with was a judge, and she had read some of my books and stated that they should be required reading for all who attended school and college. I reflected upon what she said, and as I thought through what would happen if a high school or college age individual read the books to understand why their mom or dad or anyone else did not treat them in a loving way, which caused them to hear voices of demons and not be able to be freed, even if they attended church their whole life, and then were able to forgive those who hurt them and command the demons to go, then they would be able to help their siblings to get free and perhaps reach their parents with the truth and help them get delivered. What an amazing change that would happen in our country and world if people were simply told the whole truth and were able to forgive those who hurt them, humbled themselves from their pride, and then repented for their own sin. If only the church would teach the whole truth and not be religious, and never talk about the need for deliverance, which was 1/3 of Jesus' ministry on earth. I've seen this where you get a parent, mom and dad, that end up getting delivered, then they end up apologizing to their children for how they treated them, and then that takes the heart of the children and it turns it back to the mom and dad. And that's exactly what Malachi 4, 5, and 6 says. It says, I'm sending Elijah before the great and dreadful day of the Lord to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children's hearts back to their parents. And that's what happens when people get delivered. And then you have a happy family instead of strife and fighting and arguing. So, if we can see many in the highly educated and professional world begin to understand the truth of how this all works, what an amazing change that would occur before Christ returns for his pure and spotless bride. Those who are highly educated and affluent are able to make more of an impact to help others see the truth simply because they have more resources to get the truth out. There are so many in the church who are not the bride of Christ because they have not truly forgiven everyone who has hurt them, and then they're behaving in ways of the flesh. Galatians 5:16-26 talks about what happens when people don't get delivered. They're simply whitewashed tombs who listen to demons and behave in the flesh. When they get delivered, they hear from the Lord more clearly and thus will behave in the fruit of the Spirit. So I'll go ahead and read this again. Galatians 5:16-26 says, I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery. Sorcery is witchcraft, yes, but it's essentially at the core, what do witches do? Witches try to control other people, to make them do what they want. They oftentimes will try to cast spells to hurt them or to kill them. They can astral project. These people are only witches because they were hurt deeply. They have not forgiven those who have hurt them. And some of them were religious in trying to get them to hate people that are a part of the church, people that are pastors, people that are ministry people. So, sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy. Does that sound like a lot of people that you know? A lot of people in church that behave like that. Murders, drunkenness, revelries, and the like, of which I tell you beforehand, just as I told you in times past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. So they obviously need to go through deliverance, need to get set free, as it's starting to rain. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. So again, when you get delivered, you're going to have a lot of fruit of the Spirit in your life and not so much of the fruit of the flesh anymore. Against such there is no law, and those who are Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us also not become conceited, which is prideful, provoking one another and envying one another. So it's exciting to see the Lord reaching out to the business leaders and seeing them respond. Well, there's people actually are still here on the beach, and they're getting wet. And there's people in the ocean. I'm glad I have at least a little bit of a cover from it. That's how funny it is. So President Trump was a highly affluent businessman who we have seen transform into making godly decisions that those with demons hate. He is trying to save the unborn babies from being killed. Let me go back here. My iPad is getting wet. Oh my goodness. The things I do for a good background. Okay, I'm going to try to get my iPad back here to working. So I can finish. Alright, here we go. Okay, President Trump was a highly affluent businessman who lives... Here we go. Who we have seen transform into making godly decisions that those with demons hate. He's trying to save the unborn babies from being killed, appointing a godly woman to the Supreme Court in Amy Coney Barrett, which would allow America to overturn Roe versus Wade and stop the killing of babies and allow the Lord to bless America instead of being cursed. I think about myself. As I was a successful businessman in the financial services industry, the top sales rep for the largest banking compliance company in America. I had no desire to do ministry whatsoever, but because of going through some extreme circumstances with some people personally, I could see firsthand how demons work to cause people to behave horribly. Then I was able to survive the attacks and overcome them, and now can lead others to their freedom from their torment, from their demons, through forgiveness and repentance and humility. And I'm amazed at what the Lord is doing, as hundreds of new people every week are becoming aware of Restored to Freedom and the message of truth. And it's resonating as more people get delivered every week. Time is getting shorter before Christ's return. So we need to do everything we can every week to get the word out to the world before it's too late. And if those in the church won't tell us the whole truth, then God will use the highly influential of the business world to do it. It's fun to see how the Lord has started to have me go into the largest Marriott hotels and invite people who live in the largest cities in America through Facebook ads to come, and they are actually coming. So if the church refuses to talk about deliverance and help people get healed and freed, then God will go outside the church to places where they will allow His Spirit to flow. God says, let my people go. You know, and that's what I've been seeing, is more and more and more people are coming saying, I need deliverance. I need deliverance. I need deliverance. Can you please help me? I want deliverance. And we are getting busier and busier and busier. We need more people around the world that understand this, that can get delivered themselves so that they can help others to get freed. And when they can get others freed, then we can make huge impacts on this world. And so how cool is it that the Lord is using people that are business people, people that are influential, that have the heart of the Lord. I think this is symbolic with this rain coming in, that the Lord is anointing and blessing those who go through deliverance. He's like baptizing them. This is like a symbolic baptism. And I just love, obviously, being outside. In fact, look at that. There's a person there in the lifeguard chair that's still there. And there's a person that's still in the ocean, and they're walking in the ocean. And when you get delivered and stuff, it's like you can laugh about anything. You don't stress, you don't worry, you say let it rain, and it's a cleansing. People get their soul wounds cleansed when they go through deliverance. And they don't stress about anything, they don't fight, they don't argue. they're happy. And those who don't get delivered aren't happy, and they're miserable, and they want to make everybody else miserable. And that's not who the Lord is. So again, tomorrow night I will be in Holiday, Florida, for all those of you that are on the west coast of Florida, just north of Tampa, St. Pete, Kingdom Life Church in Holiday, Florida. And then on Friday I'm coming to the Marriott in Orlando. That's in Lake Mary. It's looks like it's a beautiful property. I don't know how old that it is. It looks pretty new. And then I'm coming to Atlanta on Saturday, and then Birmingham on Sunday. So, all that being said, I've got some time here that I can do some prophetic words over some people. So let me see, Joe Stat or Stat Joe. I see you on here. Let me give you a word. So, okay, Lord just shows me that you have been trying as hard as you possibly can to do what the Lord wants you to do in your life, and that you do have a strong desire to please the Lord, but the enemy has been like all out to get you and to come against you and discourage you. And the Lord said, do not be discouraged, my son, for I do see your heart, and I do see the desires of it, wanting to pursue me, even though others will try to come against you and lie about you and hurt you. But that is part of the process, my son, is that we count it all joy when we go through various trials and tribulations, because ultimately I will use you in great ways to help, because you are becoming a part of the remnant, and the remnant will get great assaults on them. So count it all joy. Love the Lord. In fact, I'll say that too for a lot of us. When we go through a season where it's peaceful and it's calm, yes, I'll be in Anaheim December the 6th. When we go through things that are peaceful and calm, then everything's fine. But as soon as we start getting winds and rainstorms and thunderstorms coming after us, we don't like it. We want everything to be happy and peaceful and all that. And I oftentimes get conversations with people during the week or messages from people saying, oh my gosh, I'm going through all this spiritual warfare. And the first thing I always say is, well, is there anything that you can do yourself to reduce that, by coming into alignment more with the Lord through forgiveness, through repentance? Because if we're not doing our part, then the enemy will have legal rights to come against us. As long as we do our part, if it's someone outside of us who's like coming against us, lying about us, and trying to hurt us, then at that point you just give them to the Lord and you ride the storm out. And that just means that you may have to put up with some people that come against you, say some things that aren't true, and it's par for the course. You can't not go through that stuff, especially if you're doing things for the Lord that are strong and helping lives get delivered. That's why when people come into the ministry of Restorative Freedom, I tell them that, listen, it's not an easy ministry. It's very, very challenging. One of the most challenging ministries out there, because we deal with people and we have to confront people sometimes. I'll say this, oftentimes there'll be people that will come in and go through deliverance and they think that they're just ready to go and jump into ministry, and yet they're still wounded, and they'll take an offense and they'll cause strife and arguing and stuff, and they can't be a part of the ministry at that point, not until they're more at peace, not until they've been more delivered. Because if you try to come into the ministry and start getting other people delivered and you're not completely delivered yet, or at least mostly delivered, then you're going to have a lot of attacks that you're not going to be able to withstand, and then you're going to end up hurting other people. And then you're going to get hurt. You're going to take an offense when people in the ministry say you're not ready yet. You need to pull back. So make sure that you are, again, and if you're married to someone that is not delivered and you want to come into the ministry, and it's unfortunate. I knew that was the way in my life. I was married to a woman that was not delivered yet, and she manifested a lot, and it was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I can't do ministry and have that person yelling and screaming and going crazy. You know, she's got to get set free, healed, and delivered. And the Lord ultimately said, well, you've got to make a decision. You're going to serve me, or you're going to serve the demons in your wife? And I'm like, well, I got to serve you. And the Lord said, yes, so you need to separate, and then we'll give her a chance to repent. And if she won't, then unfortunately she's off the island, because she is, you know, again, a person that's got demonic spirits that you're married to. If they won't get delivered and stuff, and you try to come into the ministry and calling the Lord has for you, it's going to be hell. Those demons will manifest. They will come against you to try to stop you from what the Lord wants to do in your life. And that's the sad part. There's a whole lot of marriages out there where you've got one person that wants to do everything for the Lord, and they're so excited, but then they can't because they have a spouse that's not been delivered. And then that spouse is going to do everything they can to make your life miserable so that you can't do anything for the Lord. So, and again, when people truly want to be delivered and freed, the Lord will do it. It's just a matter of being honest and saying, Holy Spirit, show me things in my life that I need to, people that I need to forgive, that I've not done it yet, and allow Him to show you, and then continue to pursue that. Say, Lord, show me if there's any pride in my life, if there's any people that I have hurt that I need to repent to. So I need to say I'm sorry. I mean, ask for forgiveness is what I meant. Anyways, let me give a word to Alyssa Herrera, I can't remember. I know you're from Omaha, Nebraska, though. Lord says, my love, do not be discouraged, for there's much in your life that I'm healing you from, and you are learning along the way great insight and wisdom, and that I'm using everything in your life from the past to be able to help others get set free in the future. So count it all joy and continue to stay in peace, for peace is where I am. Peace is not where the enemy is, and wherever there's a lack of peace always indicates the enemy is present, and it is your job to find out where and to take it away. So I'll say this is, you know, my book, Keep Your Peace On, I had written that in a couple of days, like 4 days, and it's something that's really near and dear to my heart. Hey, the storm's gone. It's near and dear to my heart because when you are aware of how the enemy works, when you are paying attention to whenever something goes wrong or bad, that it's an attack from the enemy, and just a matter of, okay, I'm not going to look at the circumstances, I'm not going to speak into the circumstances, I'm not going to complain, I'm not going to bemoan, I'm going to keep my peace on, no matter what. Then the enemy can't disturb you. And so many people, what they'll do is they'll say, oh my gosh, this bad thing's happening, that bad thing's happening, this bad thing's happening, oh my gosh, I have financial issues, concerns, worries, and I'm going to read this. The Lord just wants me to read this right now. As long as I can get it open, as my iPad was getting really wet. I'm going to read this. This is really good. It's about worry. And so much that we worry about that is ridiculous. That when you look back on it, you're like, oh my gosh, all this worry that I had, and it was all for naught. Okay, here it is. This is a study of 2005, Leahy, study of Cornell University. Scientists found that firstly, 85% of what we worry about never happens. 85% never happens. That's a lot. So don't worry, be happy. That's isn't that true? Don't worry about anything. 85% of what we worry about never happens. So then, what about the 15% that we worry about, the very small percentage that does happen? Again, and that's demons. The demons are trying to cause you to worry, 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 fear, fear, fear about everything. You know, so that's why I take my thoughts captive and make sure that I don't worry about nothing. Because, get this, 15% of what you worry about that does happen, 79% of the subjects discovered that either they could handle the difficulty better than expected, or that the difficulty taught them a lesson worth learning. So the conclusion of the study is that 97% of our worries are baseless and result from an unfounded pessimistic perception, which is demonic. So again, 97% of what you worry about, don't worry about it. That's coming from the enemy, always. You know, I look back at my life, you know, financially the Lord, I used to have a lot of money, and then the Lord said He's going to take it all away. So I had to trust Him, and He did. And now I trust Him every week to make sure that I can pay my bills and pay my assistant and pay the ministry bills and trust Him for traveling all over the place with not knowing where I'm going to go. Like I didn't know where I was going to go in the month of November. I knew the Lord has been telling me that there's going to be some riots breaking out after Trump gets reelected. And I fully believe that that will happen without any doubt. And so I'm like, well, where am I going to go in November? You know, the Lord's like, I'll let you know on a need-to-know basis. And I'm like, all right. And then I just got a message before I started this Facebook Live from a guy from Wisconsin saying, hey, can you come here? Right before Thanksgiving. I'm like, yep. I go, it's open. I can. I go, but you got to promise me it's going to be warm in Wisconsin the week before Thanksgiving. I don't want any snowstorms and freezing cold temperatures, so we'll see if that happens. But when you don't worry about anything, the Lord always works it out. When you're worried about everything, that's the enemy. You're on the enemy's territory. You got to shut that enemy down immediately. Don't ever worry about anything. And there's so many times people reach out complaining about this and that. And you remember the complaining of the Israelites. I remember my mentor, he would not let me complain. He said, you're not allowed to say one word of complaints. Oh, but I'm just kind of frustrated. Because, well, frustration is a subtle form of anger. Don't be frustrated. Don't just be at peace at all times. And it was hard. You know, I was going through some extreme abuse. And I couldn't tell anybody because God wouldn't let me tell anybody. But then also my mentor would not let me tell him either. And I think there's great wisdom in that. Can you imagine being around Jesus and complaining? Oh my gosh, Jesus, we don't have any money. Jesus is like, okay, go down there to the ocean and get some fish. You know, get some money out of their mouths. Really? Okay, Jesus. And I'm sure that the disciples, for the most part, were like, man, Jesus is always at peace. He's not worried about anything. You know, and of course, those who have money tend to not have as many financial concerns. But what I've learned with what the Lord was doing with me is like, He goes, Nelson, I got to get to the point where I can trust you completely before I can bring back a lot of money. And because He had been telling me, asking me about a year ago, what would you do if you had, you know, $1 million? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'd pay off the rest of some debts, but I'm like, I don't know. Well, now I know. Now I know exactly what I would do. I would rent out the largest venues in the largest cities in America, and then I would do massive promotion to get people aware of them, and then have them come and go through deliverance. And so I believe the Lord was preparing me along the way by asking me, what would you do? What would you do? And now that I'm starting to do these in these Marriott hotels, I think it's exciting because it's way easier to get more people to come to a hotel than it is to a home. You know, and again, even the churches, if you have it at a church, oftentimes other pastors at other churches will not allow them to go, their people, to another church for an event because they're afraid that they might lose them. Again, fear. You know, it's like, really? It's like, this is not, it's not right. It shouldn't be, it's not like you own anybody. You know, they're afraid of losing ties and things like that. So stop worrying and stop fearing about everything. Again, I'm going to read this again. A study, 2005, Leahy, study of Cornell University, which scientists found that firstly, 85% of what we worry about never happens. So don't worry about anything. Why are you wasting time worrying about 85% is not going to be a negative outcome? And then with 15% of the worries that did happen, 79% of the subjects discovered that either they could handle the difficulty better than expected or that the difficulty taught them a lesson worth learning. How cool is that? So great, so awesome. So don't worry about nothing, anything. Do what you're supposed to do, you know? Again, if you get triggered and get angry over somebody that did something to you, then ask the Lord, why am I getting triggered? Separate off the demonic spirits from your soul and then command the demons to go and be back at peace again. Yay, peace. Peace is good. Awesome. And then every day is like a life at the beach. And even when it rains, you're happy and you're laughing and you're smiling. And you can get on your bicycle and you can go for a ride. How many people like to take bike rides? Hey, there's a person right now going for a bike ride. On the beach, no less. Alrighty, let me give some other words. Tom Dykes Sr., let me give you a word. Hala kondra shitaba hatara ma otara kondra shitaba kondra shitaba kondra shitama hatara kondra shitaba. Harama kondra shitama kondra shitama hatara kondra shitama. Alright, I'm just going to say, the Lord just says that there's something under construction right now that has caused a little bit of concern in your life. And the Lord said again, don't worry, no worries. I am faithful and just to complete what was started, and it will be finished on time. No worries whatsoever. I've got you, and I've got those that you love. Love the Lord. Alrighty. Let me see someone else. Heather Shipley, let me give you a word. Heather Shipley. Okay, the Lord just says that on the horizon there looks like there's some clouds that are coming at you, trying to cause you to have fear and worry. And the Lord said, I'm going to take those clouds that are coming, and they're going to ultimately provide you protection from getting burned. So no worries. I will take what the enemy meant for evil and use it for your good. Love the Lord. All right, Maria Seaton, let me give you a word. All right, I just sense the Lord saying that there is some undiscovered treasures in your life that have been buried from others, and that He is having you seek out to uncover what those treasures are. He said it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a pirate treasure that they go and try and find are like the parable of the pearl of great price. He said it will be worth the journey and the efforts involved in your seeking out to find that treasure, and it will bring great peace to you when you've discovered it finally. So again, no worries every day like you're at the beach. Again, when you come to the beach, most people are very happy when they come here. Most people, it's like they cast their worries into the ocean for an hour or two. You know, there's some families that come here and strive, fight and argue, but for the most part, especially you see children that come here, they're like, there's a little girl over there now walking towards the ocean. Her parents are right behind her, and she's like all excited. Oh my gosh, mommy, daddy, I can't wait to see what's going to be here. And that's the way that it can be every day when you're delivered and freed. No worries. Again, 87% of what we worry about, or no, 85% of what we worry about never happens. 85% of what we worry about never happens, period. So when people are worried, about whatever, I'll say this too with our kids. The enemy loves to hurt our kids and then cause us to worry all the time about them. No, don't let it happen. Don't you dare. You can pray over them, cover them, and then count it done, but don't ever get into daily worry and fear and having to pray, rote prayers and praying out of fear is a waste of time. There's a lot of people that will pray out of fear and worry. You got to pray out of the authority of Jesus Christ and count it done when you've done prayed and you're done with it, and then be at peace. Well, the temperature's dropped about, it feels good now, at least 15 degrees. It actually feels nice and cool. I've got a session with a guy right after this. I would love to just do it from the beach. Also, let me know, is there any wind? Do you hear any wind? Because I've got my new microphone that is supposed to cancel out on wind, and it is windy, as you can see in my umbrella here. Let me know. Do you hear any wind? Anyone? Bueller? Do I sound clean? Clear? Sounds good. Awesome. Well, I am so excited. Again, a testimony. Awesome. Don't hear any wind. A testimony about this is that wow, there's a bunch of birds. There they are. They made a lot of noise as soon as they took off, started flying. Is that I was looking for a microphone. Good, you should be able to hear the waves. Awesome. But I was looking for a microphone that would work with my loudspeaker, and this guy that I'm staying with just happened to offer it to me. He didn't even know that I was looking for it. How cool is that? When God ends up blessing you with something that He knows that you need, but you don't have to ask for it. How many people, I see this a lot, where they ask for money, and people in ministry, they try and put guilt trips on people for money. That's not the way God is. When we do deliverance, when I started doing deliverance, the Lord said to tell people just to make a donation if they had. If they didn't have any money, then they wouldn't have they needed to give, and the Lord would make up for it in other ways, and He has. So much of what we do is we end up getting into fear and worry because the enemy's tormenting us, and then we try to have other people help us out, when the Lord oftentimes wants to surprise us with things. I would not be happy if I knew everything that I was going to have to go through in the future. It wouldn't take faith, and God loves faith. Hebrews, was it 4:12? Anyway, the Lord loves faith. He loves us to have bold faith, and I love it. Again, when I don't know where I'm going to go, like in a couple of days or a week, my schedule now is booked out to the election, and I didn't have anything scheduled until December the 6th, and now I've got something scheduled the weekend before Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll be around snow in Wisconsin, Appleton, Wisconsin. I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be cold up there. Maybe I can hang out with some more friends from Minnesota too. So, alrighty. Again, tomorrow night at the, what's it called? Let me look. Tomorrow night at Kingdom Life Church in Holiday, Florida. Tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. and then Friday night in Orlando at the Orlando Marriott in Lake Mary. And then Saturday I'll be in Atlanta at the Atlanta, what's it called? Marriott Perimeter Center on the northeast side. So, alrighty, well, I'm gonna let you guys go as the winds are blowing at the beach in Jacksonville. Alrighty, love ya, see ya, bye.